WXII 12 News at 5 starts right now.
Breaking news in Rockingham County.
Carroll Street and Church Street. Carroll Street and Church Street.
A heartbreaking scene here in Eden with multiple fatalities confirmed, what we just learned, and who's leading the investigation.
Under investigation, a Triad business accused of taking customers' money and not completing the job.
He's just repeatedly given us excuses.
What our months-long investigation uncovered as charges are filed in the case.
And unsettled weather, rain and thunderstorms moving in and out of the Piedmont for the next few days. When will it finally clear out? We'll tell you.
First at 5, breaking news. A large law enforcement response is underway tonight in Rockingham County.
Officials now confirming several people are dead after a crash involving a City of Eden vehicle. We've got team coverage for you at the scene.
We'll get to our Kenny back in just a moment, but first let's begin with our Joshua Davis, who has the latest tonight from investigators. Joshua.
Devontae, it is still a heart-wrenching scene out here right now. I'll step to the side so you can see it. People are hugging, people are crying and comforting one another. Now, we do know from Eden Police that they've confirmed multiple fatalities stemming from an accident involving a City of Eden motor vehicle. But we don't have an exact number as to how many people have been impacted. Now, police say this accident happened around 1:30 p.m. at the intersection of Church Street, Carroll Street, and Park Road, where you see that congregation of vehicles down there, and we do know the Duke Energy contractors were involved. At this time, Highway Patrol is leading this investigation with Eden Police supporting. We are waiting for any more details from those investigating agencies, and we'll bring you those updates as soon as we get them. But for now, let's toss things over to Kenny Beck, who's been speaking with bystanders. And Kenny, what have they been telling you?
Joshua, good evening. I spoke off camera with a man just a few minutes ago who told me that he is a family member of one of those deceased victims. He did not give me that man's name out of respect for the family and everything that's occurred here. He did tell me that the one man that he's related to is a local man, born and raised in Eden, very much from this town. He said he believes at this point that the other victims in this, those that have died and those that are hospitalized, are likely out-of-town contractors. He said, right now, I have only seen one family, mine, here grieving the loss of their loved one. Now, the narrative that he gives me, and before I go into that, I want to preface this by saying this is his account. This is what he has understood at this point to have occurred. This is not official from the Eden Police Department. This is not official from State Highway Patrol. Nevertheless, what he tells me is as follows. We are at the corner of Morgan Road and Church Street in Eden. If you go down Church, that's where you see all of the police tape, all of the activity, the various men and women in those brightly colored vests, and you see multiple power company vehicles. They still have their hydraulic arms up in the air. Now, if you continue down that road a few hundred feet, there is a road that crosses over Church. It's Carroll on the left and it's Park on the right. What this man told me is as follows. He says a city trash truck driver came down that road, Carroll, crossed over Church, split in between those two power truck vehicles and hit multiple workers who were on the ground standing in between the two of them, and then continued across Church over to Park. He told me again that one of the victims in this case is a member of his family. That person has died. He also told me that as far as he has been told at this point, he has been led to believe that there are at least 4 victims who have died in this case. Again, that is not confirmed by Eden PD. That is not confirmed by North Carolina Highway Patrol, which is currently handling this investigation. As for when we may get official emergency responder details on all of this, I am told by a spokesperson for the county government that the Eden Police Department will not be saying much at all about this the rest of the evening, because this is now a State Highway Patrol case. Whether we will get any further information or any official on camera from Highway Patrol at any time, whether that's in a press conference or to read a statement, that is not immediately clear at this point. We may not get much of anything from them. That is certainly certainly a possibility at this point. So again, what we know, to recap what Joshua said, multiple fatalities, people in the hospital, involving a City of Eden trash truck and several power trucks as well. That's what's happening at this point. Devontae, Christine, will send things back to you in the newsroom.
Still very much a developing story. Kenny, Joshua, thank you both. And Duke Energy has confirmed that contractors working for their company were involved in that incident.
It provided a statement that reads, quote, "We are saddened about the tragic event that happened today, and our hearts go out to the families and teammates of those involved. The safety of our employees, contractors, and customers is the highest priority at Duke Energy. We're working closely with law enforcement officials."
Our crews will stay at that scene and gather more details. As soon as they have something new to share, we'll check back in with them. We'll also put any of those updates on the free WXII 12 News mobile app.
In 12 Investigates, a building contractor arrested. Investigators say the owner of Triad Carports defrauded more than 25 people.
And tonight we're hearing from customers who pay thousands for jobs that were never done. Our Sarah Sowers has been looking into the unfulfilled promises for months now. She joins us in studio. And Sarah, turned out, we actually learned this week, investigators were doing the exact same.
That's right, Devontae. The Davidson County Sheriff's Office has charged the owner of Triad Carports and Metal Structures. Jesse Black faces 25 felony counts related to obtaining property under false pretenses. The victims I've spoken to say this has been a long time coming.
We're still trying to find Jesse.
Back in late 2023, Vlahos and her husband decided to hire Triad Carports and the company's owner, Jesse Black, to complete a 50 by 70-foot storage garage in Winston-Salem after receiving what they thought was a good estimate. The deposit for the project was more than $38,000, and their understanding was work would start after they sent a check and a permit was received to build the structure. But after waiting a few months, that didn't happen.
Since then, he's just repeatedly given us excuses, at certain times not getting back to us at all.
She says Black gave them a list of excuses ranging from health complications to backup timing to pour concrete at the build site. She says she gave him benefit of the doubt, but when she realized the project might not be done, she asked for her deposit back to cancel the job.
He said that he couldn't give us our money back because he had already built the rafters.
After several months of waiting, Vlahos says she had enough and filed a lawsuit in April of 2024.
At this point, we don't even want him to build our building anymore. You just cannot trust anybody like this. We don't even know what kind of quality building we'll be getting at this point, and we're just completely done with all of this.
And Zoe Vlahos is not alone. 12 Investigates spoke with 2 other women who say Triad Carports never completed their jobs.
I'm going to scream it from the rooftops, you know, like, stay away, buyer beware.
Louisa Blaylock said she started working with Triad Carports in the end of May last year for the installation of her 30 by 50 garage.
You call the company, they don't answer the phone, they call you back like weeks later, days later, and it's just excuse after excuse.
She got a quote for the nearly $26,000 project on May 30th, and we're told that if they paid a $12,000 deposit, concrete would be poured within 12 weeks.
3 months come, and we're still not scheduled for concrete.
That's when she decided to take matters into her own hands and got the concrete done on her own dime. That was back in December. Since then, she was able to get her deposit back from Triad Carports, but only after threatening legal action. Several other Triad clients reached out to WXII with their own stories of delays and frustration over their jobs not being completed. Leslie Pupo, who lives in Salisbury, spoke with us 6 months after she gave a deposit to the company and never got word about when her project would start.
They can't even do our job from 5 months ago. How are they in good conscience taking money from people now? I mean, what are they telling people? Like, well, you know, you'll have it for Christmas next year?
She got her full deposit of $6,995 back, but says her experience was frustrating.
This is no way to run a business. I mean, you have to know how many jobs you have in the queue and approximately how long it's going to take for each one. I said, are we talking a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? And she said, well, I can't give you that.
Pupo says the company has blamed illness, rain, contractor delays, and even Hurricane Helene. 12 Investigates reviewed a letter sent by the company to clients back in November, revealing issues with credit card processing of payments and delays in pouring concrete. The owner of the company, Jesse Black, told 12 Investigates the same thing over the phone. Black agreed to do an interview with us on multiple occasions, but says due to being sick and, quote, on the move, we could not sit down with him, in person or through Zoom. Instead, he sent a 2-page statement saying, in part, quote, I know that it is not being done in the time we initially told these customers, but we are in no way, shape, or form a scam. He goes on to say, quote, we do not take customers' money and run with it. Since all of this started in April, we have put out so many buildings and pads. And he is adamant that the company is doing, quote, everything in our power to get back on track with these orders.
We were unaware that there were others out there that were having issues like we were. We just hope that we can resolve this matter, get our money back, and we certainly hope the rest for everyone else.
We reached out to Black for comment since he was arrested and bailed out. He sent us a statement denying those allegations presented by investigators. As of February, the company was still posting on their Facebook page to gather more customers, despite not finishing other jobs last year. You can read the full statement from Triad Carports on our website at WXII12.com. I'm Sarah Sowers for WXII 12 News.
Sarah, thank you. New at 5 o'clock, a lawsuit alleging unfair pay practices within the Alamance County Sheriff's Office has now been settled. Court documents show an agreement between the plaintiffs and Terry Johnson in his capacity as sheriff was filed in U.S. District Court on Monday. It says the deal resolves all issues in the case and asks the court to give them more time than usual to finalize the settlement.
New tonight in 12 Investigates, the Forsyth County Courthouse is about 3 months away from a big deadline. E-courts will launch for the county July 21st. This provides the public with online access to court records, but will court staff get the job done in time? Some have worried the jury administration issues that plagued the courthouse last fall would impact the county's transition to e-courts. Clerk of Superior Court Denise Hines says getting to July 21st will certainly come with many challenges.
It is absolutely my goal to meet the July 21st deadline.
What more needs to happen for you to do that?
Additional staff.
More staff to help this courthouse go from paper to digital, a major convenience for all Forsyth County residents.
I think that is wonderful. Wonderful, especially for older people.
If that July 21st deadline is met, the public will be able to log in online and get the court records they want. No need to visit in person. However, that's if the courthouse can get through the work this transition requires.
It's a really in-depth, planned, detailed, guided transition. So in the end, we know it's going to be beneficial. It's quite taxing now.
Hines says from beginning to end, this transition will take 20 weeks. In that time, 103 staff members will help digitize decades of documents. They have to upload all active and closed Forsyth County cases from January 2010 until present day.
All of these documents have to go in? Yeah, that's just one of the files.
Any cases before 2010 that are still pending today will also get processed. At least 15 years of cases, some with more paperwork than others, have to be sent through scanners like these, page by page, one by one.
I can say we're at the point that we're getting a little bit like I can't do anything else.
Exhausted already at only week 5 out of 20. Trying to stay afloat, Hines has already requested overtime funding from the state.
There is a point where we get temporary staff and overtime in order to meet the transition.
That request for more, similar to her plea 6 months ago. She echoes what she told 12 Investigates during the October saga that left 100 jurors wandering the courthouse with no one to help.
I've been stating for a while that the demands on the Office of the Clerk of Court are greater than our resources. That has not changed.
What will create change is e-courts. Hines believes the general public,
Yes, that will save me time.
won't be the only ones to benefit. Law enforcement, clerks, judges, and lawyers will too.
So it's about time that we got it too. Very, very helpful because court is very stressful. People are all over the place. You don't know what's going on, so the online system will help a lot.
But with just a few months to go, will Forsyth County get everything scanned into that online system? Only time can tell.
It's going to be a hard transition for us. Just the bottom line, it's going to be a very difficult transition for us.
Several Triad colleges have reached out to the clerk's office offering help from interns, but it's tricky though because they can only do so much since they're not state employees. Once eCourts is launched, it could help with that staffing issue in the clerk's office. More clerks will be free for other duties since fewer people will need to visit in person to get that assistance. We will see though come July 21st.
We're getting more perspective on the search for school superintendents. Winston-Salem Forsyth County School Superintendent Tricia McManus retires in June. WXII 12's Kelly Kendall lays out how finding her successor might go.
The Winston-Salem Forsyth County School Board will meet on Monday to discuss hiring a new interim superintendent. Then after that, the search is on for a new superintendent.
Jack Hoke with the North Carolina School Superintendents Association says typically local school boards will start the process with some help.
They will either work with the North Carolina School Boards Association, who does a lot of the superintendent searches, or there's several search firms out there that do this, but they also advertise broadly, and they usually have a window of about 30 days to take applications. And then while they're doing that, the boards typically have community meetings or forums or send out surveys on what people are looking for in the next superintendent.
After that, Hoke says the process is often similar to the standard employee hiring process: interviews, background checks, and negotiating contracts. He says qualified candidates come from all kinds of professional backgrounds, but often start as teachers and rise through the ranks as administrators.
The school district says if the board chooses to use a search firm, the process can take 4 to 6 months. The last time the board utilized a search firm was in 2019. The North Carolina School Boards Association charged $22,000 for that work. In Winston-Salem, I'm Kelly Kendall for WXII 12 News.
Well, now some of you have seen some rain today, and some of you have not seen a drop today. And where there were some rains earlier, it came down pretty good. The radar's starting to relax just a little bit more. You can see some showers down over portions of Randolph County, fairly light to moderate rains around areas of western Guilford, northern parts of Forsyth County, where they've had some decent rains here. Really, over the past hour, this cell's kind of very slow mover. Walnut Cove, Bannertown, around Walkertown. If there was a little light flooding, if you live in a flood-prone area here, wouldn't be surprised to see that occur. This is all moving off to the north, this one cell, very slowly. There's no thunderstorm activity and there's nothing severe in here, but it is some heavy rain that's been coming down for quite some time. Will help the drought some. That's always good. We've seen the drought monitor get updated today. We're in this moderate drought pattern over portions of northwest Stokes, back out into Surrey County, extreme western Yadkin County, and then back out into the foothills. Abnormally dry conditions across the immediate triad. So the rain, we could use it, and we still have a few more chances to get some showers in here as we go into the day tomorrow and into Saturday too. Well, 70 in Greensboro now, but where it hasn't rained, it's really warmed up, like in Caswell County where it's 80, 75 in Burlington, 60s in some of the rain-cooled air across the Piedmont, and right around 60 in the mountain counties right now. Dew point temperatures slowly starting to rise a little bit more. These were in the 50s earlier. Now they're coming up into the 60s. So if you go outside, it may not be real warm where the rain has occurred, but the humidity's up a little bit and will continue to stay up as we go into the day tomorrow too. High temperature today 76, a couple degrees above our average high of 74 this afternoon. As we get into tomorrow and Saturday too, you're going to see some off and on showers, some extra clouds. You might even see a break or two of sun in there, and maybe some embedded isolated thunderstorms at times. And then Sunday will be dry and pleasant and less humid, so the second half weekend's looking really nice. And then early next week, Monday and Tuesday look great. We'll be in the 70s on Monday and should see right around 80 as we get into Tuesday afternoon, so we'll warm up thunderfronts on the way. Here's this front that's really dived down to the south. It's drifted south over the past 24 hours or so, but there's still enough energy in the atmosphere. You still see some rains back out over portions of eastern Tennessee, and that energy that's out there is firing off a few showers. Thunderstorms back out to our west, so we'll watch that batch of showers and see how it comes across North Carolina a little bit later on this evening. This stalled out front way back over the Midwest is going to be a slow mover. In fact, it's not moving a whole lot right now, but it's going to be a cold front and move through as we get into Saturday, and that will bring a better chance of showers and then clear us out for the day on Sunday. So some showers tomorrow morning in the Piedmont, highs around 72. You might get an isolated storm in there, and rain chances 50-50 across the area, or probability of precipitation. You can see we've got some impact hours in there. In the foothills too for tomorrow, scattered showers, a stray storm, low 70s, and in the mountains temperatures will be into the mid 60s. Showers, maybe a scattered storm, and a little bit of thunderstorm activity, but it would be very isolated. Here we are tomorrow morning. You see some random scattered showers across the area, maybe a couple of heavy rain cells in there, moderate to heavy. Then as we get into Friday afternoon, we see a little bit more of some shower activity coming out of the west. And again, some of those cells could be a little heavy at times, maybe an embedded thunderstorm. This is getting into Friday night and very early on Saturday, when we've got still some rain showers around. Saturday is actually looking not too bad at all, if you don't mind some showers around for the race at Bowman Gray Stadium on Saturday. Temperatures will be into the 70s. It should be clearing out late night, but there may be some storms early for some of that race early in the day. 7-day forecast you see here are unsettled weather for Friday and Saturday. Sunday looks great, and Monday and Tuesday do too. And as we get into the middle of next week, we'll see our temperatures come up in the low 80s for highs.
Now, checking traffic, this is the view from Salem Parkway, Highway 421 at Bunker Hill Road there in Colfax. You see that delay near the top of your screen as that highway splits. That's because there's a crash on I-40 West near Highway 66 there in Kernersville. Heads up for that evening drive.
On the clock in less than 3 hours, the 2025 NFL Draft begins inside the last-minute preps by the Carolina Panthers.
And we're also staying on top of tonight's breaking news in Eden. Our crews are gathering new details after a deadly crash involving a city vehicle and Duke Energy contractors. We'll check back in with our Kenny Beck, who's live there at the scene in minutes.
King to Kernersville, WXII 12 News has you covered. Keep up with your local news team across the Triad. Follow Devontae McKenneth on social media.
We are just hours away from the start of the NFL Draft there in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Panthers fans will not have to wait too long to find out who the team picks in the first round. WXII 12 Sports' Chanel Porter joins us live from Bank of America Stadium.
Chanel, a very exciting night for the Panthers and all football fans, honestly.
Yeah, guys, I know there's a lot of excitement up there in Green Bay, but for us, the action is right here in the Queen City. Last year was our first time that we got to watch Dave Canales and Dan Morgan navigate the draft board together, and they did so pretty aggressively, moving up and down that board to get the guys that they want. Now, last year was a pretty different situation for the Panthers going into this first night. They came in without a draft pick and then ended up trading into the first round to snag Xavier Legette at pick 32. Now, this year, hopefully we don't have to wait as long, as all eyes in the Queen City are set on pick number 8.
I feel really good about, where we're at right now. Excited about the direction that we're heading. I feel like we can really add some good pieces to the roster and, continue to add to the front and build out that depth and the competition, on both sides of the ball with both fronts. So, I think we just want to dominate the line of scrimmage, and I think that's the bottom line.
Now, it's no secret that defense is a big emphasis that this Carolina team is looking for in the draft. And if they're there at pick 8, it's likely that they'll take an edge or a safety. Coming up at 6 o'clock, we're going to go a little bit more into detail about who that pick might be. Plus, we'll talk about the option of them trading a little bit further down this draft board. For now, reporting at Bank of America Stadium, Chanel Porter, WXII 12 Sports.
Chanel, thank you. Ongoing investigation. We are staying on top of breaking news in Rockingham County right now involving a deadly crash. In a moment, we'll take you back live to the scene.
And Dan, some of you have seen some rain across the Piedmont this afternoon. Some of you haven't seen any, and where the rains have occurred, some of them kind of heavy in some spots. We're going to stay unsettled for a couple of days. We'll talk about that. Going to have your weekend forecast coming up in just a little while, too.
From WXII 12 News, this is breaking news.
And we continue to follow that breaking news tonight in Rockingham County.
Officials have confirmed that several people have died after a crash involving an Eden City vehicle. WXII 12's Kenny Beck is on the scene for us.
Kenny, are you hearing anything from investigators or even family members that you've been speaking to at the scene?
Family members and potential kin of victims, yes, a little bit. There is a thirst for information out here, and there just isn't that much that we can confirm. But I can tell you what we know at this point, and I can also give you a narrative that was explained to me off camera a little bit ago from a man said he is a family member of one of the victims who died, a local man born and raised here in Eden. And we are standing at the corner of Morgan and Church right now. If you go down Church and continue another few hundred feet, first of all, you'll see a lot of power cars. You'll see a lot of people wearing those luminescent, bright green jackets. If you continue down Church, you will see two power trucks that still have their hydraulic arms up in the air. In between those two trucks is a side street. That is Carroll Street. According to a man I spoke with who said a family member of his was killed, a city trash truck driver came down Carroll, crossed over Church, and in between those two trucks, unfortunately, standing between those two trucks were multiple power workers. They were struck. We know that there are multiple fatalities. We know that there are hospitalizations involved here as well. What caused that city truck driver to go between those two vehicles at that time with people standing there, that part is unclear. Exact number of fatalities, that is unclear. Exact number of hospitalizations and the conditions of those folks, that is unclear tonight. Identities of the victims, both living and deceased, that is unclear as well. Now, according to Eden Police, we will not be hearing anything else from them this evening. They released a statement a short time ago saying this happened at about 1:30 in the afternoon, confirming it was one of their city vehicles that was involved in this crash. The word accident was used in a press release that we received. We're told that this is now a State Highway Patrol investigation. Still a very active scene, as we saw with our shot panning over there just a little bit ago. Whether we will hear anything more tonight from State Highway Patrol, whether that's in the form of a press conference or a press release, a piece of paper, an email, we don't know. Nothing has been promised at this point, and so there are still many, many questions here tonight. We do know it is a dreadfully sad day just with the information that we have confirmed here in the small town of Eden, North Carolina. We're live tonight. We'll send it back inside to you.
And Kenny, thank you for that update. Our crews are going to stay there at the scene, and we'll pass along any updates as we get them into our newsroom. We'll also share any new information here on air and online at WXII12.com.
The U.S. and China are sending mixed messages about the status of trade negotiations as both sides maintain triple-digit tariffs on each other. This as the Trump administration reports progress with other countries. Washington correspondent Jackie DeFusco joins us live. And Jackie, where do things stand tonight?
Hey, Christine Devante. The White House has said that more than 100 countries have reached out to them about initiating possible trade talks, and that 34 meetings were set for sometime this week. But China, the country that currently is subject to the steepest tariffs so far, says it's not among them. President Donald Trump reporting progress on trade policy after meeting with Norway's prime minister.
We get along very well on trade.
And following separate talks with South Korea on Thursday.
We may be moving faster than I thought.
But a very different tone from China's Commerce Ministry. A spokesperson saying on Thursday, quote, any claims about the progress of China-U.S. trade negotiations are groundless as trying to catch the wind and have no factual basis. Still, President Trump insists they are talking to Beijing.
They had meetings this morning, and we've been meeting with China.
Beijing now calling for a complete cancellation of, quote, all unilateral tariff measures against China and equal dialogue to resolve differences.
I think there will be a negotiation. It's in the interest of both sides
to have that happen.
Experts say the status quo, President Trump's 145% tariffs on Chinese products and Beijing's 125% retaliation on U.S. goods, will effectively stop most trade between the world's two largest economies. So what is at stake if these tariffs are not lowered soon?
It's going to produce supply chain gaps. It's going to produce more expensive domestic products and more expensive imports.
And in one example of the fallout from these tariffs, two popular e-commerce sites founded in China, Shein and Temu, say they will be raising their prices on American consumers starting tomorrow. Live in Washington, I'm Jackie DeFusco, WXII 12 News.
Jackie, thank you.
We're also watching the forecast tonight with the Piedmont Triad in a rainy weather pattern, and it's one that's also pushing temperatures nearing the 80-degree mark for several days this week.
Yeah, let's check in once again with meteorologist Dave Aiken. Hey, Dave.
Hey, guys. Yeah, you know, we've had some off and on showers today. Some other rains in some spots has come down pretty good. I'll show you the radar here in a second. This is looking out over Greensboro, where it's been mostly dry. Might have been a few sprinkles there. The clouds are quite prominent, although there are a few breaks and the gaps in the clouds.